Throughout history, some people have taken the extreme step of faking their own deaths, vanishing into thin air, leaving behind grieving families, and re-emerging years later under new identities. These stories range from desperate attempts to escape debt or crime to shocking tales of pure deception. Each case proves that truth really is stranger than fiction. From clever hoaxes to dramatic returns, the people who faked their deaths often left behind a trail of lies that eventually caught up with them. These stories reveal the lengths to which humans will go when cornered by fear, guilt, or greed. Let's uncover 10 real-life stories of people who died but lived to tell the tale. Their stories continue to fascinate and disturb audiences across the world. Every fake death carries a real lesson about human nature and the limits of deception. John Darwin, the canoe man who came back from the dead in 2002, John Darwin vanished while canoeing off the British coast, presumed drowned. For years, his wife collected insurance money and sympathy, while John secretly lived next door under a fake identity. They even posed for a photo in Panama which exposed their scam. The media dubbed it the Canoe Man case, symbolizing greed disguised as tragedy. Their neighbors couldn't believe they'd been tricked for so long. Darwin served 6 years in prison, proving that even the best planned lies eventually float to the surface. His fake death remains one of Britain's most talked about crimes. Today, Darwin lives quietly, reportedly trying to rebuild his life far from fame. His case remains a textbook example of how greed can sink even the cleverest plans. Samuel Israel III, the hedge fund. Houdini Samuel Israel III was a Wall Street executive facing a 20-year prison sentence for running a massive $450 million fraud. Instead of facing justice, he faked his own suicide in 2008 by abandoning his car with the words, "Suicide is painless," written on the hood. Authorities quickly became suspicious as no body was found. Weeks later, Israel surrendered, admitting he couldn't handle life on the run. His failed attempt made him infamous as the hedge fund Houdini. His story showed how pressure and guilt can drive even the rich to desperate measures. It also revealed that escaping justice isn't as easy as Hollywood makes it seem. Israel's case remains a warning to financial criminals everywhere. His fake death ruined what was left of his reputation and career. Even from behind bars, Israel's name serves as a dark reminder of greed and foolishness colliding. John Stonehouse, the politician who tried to disappear. British MP John Stonehouse decided to vanish in 1974 to escape mounting financial troubles. He left his clothes on a beach in Miami, making it seem like he'd drowned. But instead of freedom, he found chaos. Authorities later found him in Australia living under a new identity with his mistress. Stonehouse's arrest shocked the political world and ruined his career. He was later convicted of fraud and theft, serving prison time. It showed how even the powerful aren't immune to desperation. Stonehouse's story later inspired a TV drama, proving his fake death lived on in pop culture. His act of deceit was so elaborate that even investigators initially thought he'd been murdered. Stonehouse ultimately became a tragic symbol of ambition gone wrong, and a politician destroyed by his own lies. Arthur Bennett, the soldier, who died in a fire in 1994. British soldier Arthur Bennett was believed to have died in a barracks fire. However, years later, investigators discovered he was alive, living in Scotland with a new family. The fire had been staged to cover his disappearance after allegations of misconduct. His secret life shocked both his old and new families. When caught, Bennett's deceit tore apart lives and exposed deep emotional wounds. The truth showed how far some will go to erase their past. Authorities called it one of the most shocking military cover-ups in UK history. His case stands as a chilling reminder that even death can be faked for selfish gain. The people he betrayed never fully recovered from the emotional damage. Bennett's story remains one of the darkest and most personal betrayals in military history. Ken Kesey. The counterculture. Trickster author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Ken Kesey faked his death in 1966 after being arrested for marijuana possession. He left a fake suicide note on his truck near a cliff and fled to Mexico. His followers mourned, unaware he was alive and hiding. Months later, Kesey returned to the US and turned himself in, becoming a symbol of rebellion. His stunt became part of his legendary image as a counterculture icon. Though illegal, his act was more about performance than deception. Kesey's fake death blurred the line between protest and escape. It remains one of the strangest stories from the psychedelic era. His prank reflected his creative, rebellious spirit, earning him both criticism and admiration. Kesey's fake death ultimately cemented his status as one of America's most eccentric literary figures. Benjamin Holmes, the man who outsmarted the Civil War during the American Civil War, Benjamin Holmes faked his death to avoid fighting. He buried personal items near a river to make it seem like he'd drowned while crossing. Holmes then changed his name and started a new life in another state. For decades, his secret remained hidden until a confession on his deathbed. Historians later uncovered records proving his elaborate deception. His act of cowardice or cleverness, depending on perspective, sparked debates among war historians. Holmes's story shows that fake deaths aren't just modern crimes. Even in the 1800s, people went to extreme lengths to survive. His case revealed the fear and desperation that war often brings. Holmes's story remains a rare historical example of deception surviving through generations. Patrick McDermott, Olivia Newton, John's missing lover in 2005. Patrick McDermott, the on-again, off-again boyfriend of singer Olivia Newton-John, vanished during a fishing trip in California. Presumed drowned, he became the subject of global speculation. Years later, investigators suggested he may have faked his death to escape debts and start over in Mexico. Sightings of him surfaced multiple times, though none were officially confirmed. The mystery continues to this day, with tabloids still chasing leads. McDermott's disappearance remains one of Hollywood's most haunting mysteries. It blurs the line between tragedy and deception. Whether alive or dead, his story captured worldwide intrigue for decades. Even now, conspiracy theorists and fans debate what really happened. His vanishing act is still a puzzle that refuses to fade away. Timothy Dexter, the eccentric millionaire who hosted his own funeral in the 18th century, wealthy, eccentric Timothy Dexter faked his death to see how people would react. He secretly watched as hundreds attended his fake funeral, some even crying. However, when his wife didn't mourn enough, he revealed himself. Furious, she wasn't sadder. His bizarre stunt made him both infamous and ridiculed. Dexter's fake death wasn't for escape, but for ego. Even today, historians cite his act as one of history's strangest social experiments. Dexter's death proved that sometimes the truth is crazier than fiction. His story shows that fame and wealth can drive people to outrageous acts. His staged funeral remains one of the most bizarre moments in American eccentricity. Alfredo Sanchez. The man who outsmarted the mafia, Alfredo Sanchez, a low-level mob associate, faked his death in 1988 after discovering a hit was ordered on him. He staged a car explosion using a burned body and fled to South America. For over a decade, the mafia believed he was dead, until a photo of him surfaced in Argentina. His return sparked violent retaliation and exposed the dangers of crossing the mob. Sanchez's case shows that faking death can save you temporarily, but never permanently. His story remains chilling proof that escaping the mafia is nearly impossible. Even years later, his name is whispered in underworld circles as a ghost who cheated death. Sanchez's life after his death was one of fear, guilt, and paranoia. 10. Igor Vorotinov, the man who died in Moldova in 2011, a Minnesota man named Igor Vorotinov was declared dead after his body was found in Moldova. His family even held a funeral. But years later, he was discovered alive, living in Europe under a false name. His son's involvement in the insurance fraud unraveled the entire scheme. Authorities later revealed they'd used a stranger's corpse to fake Igor's death. The case shocked the small Minnesota community that had mourned him. It remains one of the most calculated and disturbing fake death plots in modern history. Investigators called it a chilling example of how far people go for money. Even in hiding, Vorotinov couldn't outrun the truth that eventually found him. Faking your own death might sound like something out of a movie, but these true stories prove that people really do try to rewrite their fate. Whether driven by fear, greed, or ego, these individuals learned that escaping your past isn't as simple as vanishing. In every case, the truth eventually surfaced, often with devastating consequences. Some sought freedom and found prison instead. Others achieved brief success before their lies crumbled. Their stories remind us that death is easy to fake, but impossible to live with. In the end, reality always catches up, no matter how deep you try to bury it. Each fake death is a window into the darker side of human psychology. And as history shows, no secret stays buried forever.